Now class, the last major form of Indian oppression happened in the 1830s with Andrew Jackson's Indian Removal Act, with the Trail of Tears where they sent all the Indians out west. But since then, our government has been able to sanctify themselves by giving Indians reservations, financial reparations, and most importantly, Christianity.
Oppression's over? What the fuck?
Since the birth of our nation, we have been fighting for the human rights and equality of everyone. The battle is going on today as we find ourselves still fighting against the oppression of Native Americans.
The Family Planning Act of 1970 created the foundation for sterilization among Native American women. The General Accounting Office was commissioned to investigate the affair and to determine if the complaints were true. They were.
We took over the BIA office in Washington. It was one of the first times Washington has been occupied by what you would consider a foreign force, since we're own nations or whatever, since, I don't know, Civil War, I guess.
They started going through files and they started finding the records of an intentional government-run program to sterilize Native American women without their consent, without giving them information, and sometimes against their will, to the point that they would go in for a doctor's appointment and suddenly have anesthesia clapped over their face, be knocked unconscious, and have their wounds surgically removed. Discovered that they got 25% of that generation.
Petroglyphs National Monument offers a safe haven for Native American religion. The ancients who carved the rocks had a need for the petroglyphs as a place to worship. Even today, the monument is used to perform religious ceremonies and initiations.
Like, there's big pressure in Albuquerque to develop areas out to the west of the monument. And the monument is a long north-south running monument that might prevent roads from going through to go to developments, which would be to the west of the monument in the relatively unpopulated areas. So there was a big argument then for a good 5, 6, 7 years over whether or not to put one of these big roads called Paseo del Norte through the monument. And 4 years ago, Senator Domenici, the senator from, one of those two senators from New Mexico, actually separated the new national monument into two segments, north segment and the south segment, and in between the two segments was where the corridor for Paseo del Norte went. So the idea was to just put a hole through the monument and build a road. That way we couldn't say that they were building a road through a national monument. They weren't, because they decommissioned that part of the monument. The Park Service has really not been very protective of the park. They allow all sorts of competing uses of the park. They allow people to come in and walk their dogs, in many cases without leashes. They allow people to come in and jog, do all kinds of recreational things in the park, which is supposed to be honoring the sacredness of those rock art manifestations to the native people.
The Indian Arts and Crafts Act of 1990 prohibits the misrepresentation of marketing Indian goods. It is illegal to market a product as being authentically Native American when it is not.
And if people are advertising things as made by Indians so that they can sell them when they're not made by Indians, they're not only taking advantage of the Indians who aren't making money on that, they're taking advantage of the public who wants their money to go towards helping Indians.
Long after taking this country away from Native Americans and herding them onto reservations to live mostly in poverty and despair, it should bother us that some think so little of them as human beings that further exploitation of Native Americans is somehow accepted.
You can order things like this and say you have a business where you sell crafts. When you sell somebody a bracelet made by a genuine Native American person, hand them one of these pamphlets at the same time. Get word out there, educate people. Get on the internet and research Native American rights. There are a lot of really good websites. Different tribal groups generally have their own website, and along with that there will be discussions of issues. You can look it up by tribe.
Sterilization, vandalism of religious monuments, and exploitation of Native American goods are only a few forms of oppression going on today. It is up to us to inform others of these malicious acts of oppression and fight for Native American rights and equality.
You guys said physical revolution.
I am recording now.
Yes, because supposedly they get money.
Only Erin can truly enjoy that. You know what? Most of all, that is not a dog in here.
Okay.
I can't wait to watch it. Because I can't see anything happening behind here.
Just do it again.
Right here.
Can you see it?
I want you all to know. This thing.
I think your name is about to be taken off of this project. FYI.
There's nothing but the road here. Washed under the blacktop, gone beneath my wheels. There's nothing that the road cannot heal. Well, I can see.
I know you guys have seen us in class joking and laughing around. You probably think this whole thing has just been popsicles and candy drops. It hasn't. It's been tough. We've been up and we've been down. But we've pressed on and got it together. We want everyone to know it's been the most enjoyable experience. And thank you all for a great semester.
That's someone going back.